This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we are your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we're back for another funky Phantom episode. Our intrepid Revolutionary War ghost and his also ghost cat, who in the 70s, his spirit was reawakened by some teens, and now they solve crimes together. And that is the actual plot of this show.
Yep, she did not just make that up.
Nope, all of that sounded fake, but it wasn't. This is the show we are covering.
A group of showrunners and producers heard that elevator pitch you just gave at one point, Grace, and said, hell yeah, we're rolling with it.
Say less. We got it.
Why is this not already on the air?
And I think is this episode our halfway point?
Fourth?
Are we about to be at the halfway point?
Yes.
After this episode?
Is our fourth after, I'm pretty sure. I've done one. You've done two. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm back for my second one today.
Yes. Yeah. So we're just flying through this arc here. We're loving it. And today, Alexis will be telling us yet another episode of our dear groovy ghost, our funky phantom.
Groovy Ghost. Which we have wildly speculated Groovy Ghost was the original name of this show. Which also would work.
Yeah. I will say in a future episode of mine at the end, they do end it with, and that's a funky phantom, which to me confirmed your theory of like halfway through the show, they actually got the name and they were just testing the other names like Groovy Ghost at the beginning.
And they forgot to fix it in post. Oops.
Yeah, they were like, it's already on the air.
There's nothing we can do. Literally.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So, halfway through this show, and we are loving it, or just about halfway through our arc of this show, and we're loving it already. And this episode is just as funky and groovy, whichever word you want to use, as the others so far that we've covered. Great. So, this one is called Haunt in N.
Okay.
So, or like Hauntin' in. Haunting in.
Okay.
Haunt and N. Like an N, essentially. They want you to know that this episode has to do with an N.
An Inn.
A hotel. Yeah. And so, as you might guess, it begins at at Widow Wilson's Inn. And this is an old, like kind of falling apart and decrepit Tudor style mansion that this old lady has turned into an inn, or like a bed and breakfast of sorts. Okay. And this inn, it's through the woods and along a raging river. And first of all, when you see the sign for it, I'm like, who calls an inn Widow Wilson's Inn?
I was just wondering that I was like, Grace, it's too early for you to interrupt. But like, is she just looking for sympathy points, being like, yes, I'm a widow?
I am a widow. Or is she saying, hey, I'm single?
Wait, this was before Tinder. The dating apps weren't out there. Girl had to find her own creative ways to stand out, Lonely Hearts Club, like writing in. Too much. She doesn't get the post office easily out there.
You never know. Exactly. You never know. This is an easy way to make sure you get the right kind of people coming into your hotel, if you
Singles
will.
Only.
Let them know. Only. Single men only for Widow Wilson. And so this seems to work. Oh my God. This makes the episode so much fun. Because I wasn't originally going to say, I wasn't going to criticize the name of the hotel until way later in the episode, but it just was already annoying me one line into this script. And now it's just going to paint this whole episode so differently. But that's okay.
This episode is a 101 on dating in the 70s. It sounds like.
Oh, man.
I'm excited to see how the crew ends up there. Because it's April, like, let's go to the Widow Inn. It's for singles. And Skip and Augie are like, wait, singles?
Augie and Skip are like, what?
Wait, April.
Yeah, you Skip. Yeah, it's for you, Skip. We're going to go to drop off Skip, right, April?
Right, April? Skip saying the same thing about Augie.
Yeah, dropping off Augie, right, April? So, but
Ooh, okay.
before our gang gets there, we see a lonely traveler of the male variety
Betty
pulling
single
over to
and ready to mingle.
he pulls off of the road. I believe it's like storming and raining outside.
Mm.
He pulls off the road to book a room at this vacant hotel because there is also a sign underneath like the Widow Wilson's Inn sign that says like
Oh,
vacancy. So she wants you to know, come on in,
she's
fellas.
available.
There's some available. There's a vacancy in my heart for you.
For
So,
one low rate, you could
um,
come fill. The key, you want the key to my heart?
so
Oh, to your room? Sorry, I misunderstood.
your room. My bad. Just sign here. This is not a marriage license, by the way. Dot dot dot. So, so yes, he runs into this room as it's or runs into this hotel as it's storming this inn. And he's immediately greeted by the innkeeper or like the caretaker slash butler, a man named Hugo, who concerningly, rather than like asking the man, so the guy, he's like, hey, I need a room, I need to stay here tonight, like trying to obviously shield himself from the weather.
Uh-huh.
And concerningly, Hugo is not like, okay, like how many beds do you need or what size room do you need? He
Uh-huh.
asks the man, are you alone?
It's a very tight questionnaire. Widow Wilson is like, no, 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 no. No more of these married men, these unavailable men coming in here and wasting my time leading me on. We need to know from the jump if they're single.
Are you single and ready to mingle? What what are you trying to get out of this weekend?
Yeah, what are your intentions with my
Yeah.
boss?
And so Hugo, by the way, this with my boss, sorry. It's like, yeah, the fact that this is like a screening questionnaire.
So definitely some workplace violations, I think, going on. But
I
maybe not.
know
I
of
don't
all
know. Maybe it's
things.
in the contract.
Yeah.
Widow Wilson
Maybe
seems
that's just
straightforward.
to be fair, and I will also say, Hugo does not seem to have good social skills. So
Good.
this caretaker, so he's literally like every other butler in Hanna-Barbera shows, which and honestly, I think he may
It's the
have
same
they
guy.
may have used the same animation as the butler in my last episode.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't tell any main difference besides the fact that Hugo has on maybe like a green suit where the other guy had
You
on a black suit, maybe.
you
I
did
don't
also
know.
say this is also like in the woods. So like the
Yeah.
butler from the like House on the Hill episode could have broken out of that cop car at the end, ran through the woods, got this new
Through the
job.
woods, went to the nearest cottage. Yeah.
Yep. You don't
Also,
know.
like the start of another horror movie, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so anyway, this guy, Hugo asks this guy if he's alone, and this guy's like, yeah, it's just me. And so Hugo's like, all right, come on in then. And they get him checked into a room. And in his room, we see Hugo and Widow Wilson now, like helping him get settled in. And, and Widow Wilson is like, so let me describe her first, I guess. So
Yeah.
she's, first of all, she's like just old as fuck. Like they drew her to look so old and frail looking.
Get it, girl.
Get it, girl. Because she's also like, she's just so adorable and so soft spoken. Like she's whispering all the time and like this very high pitched voice, and you can hardly like hear what she's saying. And she's always
Uh-huh.
just kind of like holding her hands together. Clearly has like all white hair that's pulled back
Yeah.
into a bun. And it's like honestly wearing a very like frumpy, like matronly fit, like a long dress with an apron over it. So not, nothing very like again,
Too
she obviously,
showy.
yeah, exactly. Nothing too showy, but that's how you draw men. Because then they
Yeah.
start to wonder, well, what is under all of that?
What is under that apron?
Yeah. What is under those like three dresses and a sweater
It's so she can
that
one
you have
day do the
on?
classic like 80s rom-com moment of she lets her hair down and takes her
Yeah.
glasses off and the guys are
She's
like,
like
oh,
beautiful.
beautiful. So
Exactly.
this is her like fit every time it's like a new person comes in. She puts her hair back up,
Mhm.
pins it back.
Yeah.
She adds some extra
And then, yeah,
wrinkles
she has to
on
get
there.
started. Exactly. She's still getting the feel for this guy. All she knows so far is that he's a
Yes.
man and he's alone. She doesn't know how cool he is yet.
Yeah, exactly. She can't reveal it all yet.
She can't lay it all out on the
Yeah,
table
gotta keep them
from the
wondering.
jump.
Again,
So
dating lessons, Hanna-Barbera.
learn
Giving
from
it to
Widow
us.
Wilson. Yeah. Hey, it says Widow Wilson, not divorcee Wilson. Okay. She she was with him till the end.
And you know what? We don't know how many times over she was widowed. Is she also a
Exactly.
black widow? We don't know. But I think this new guest is about to find out.
He is. So they get him checked into what she describes as her best room in the inn, room 13,
Uh-oh.
which is foreboding, which is hilarious too, because he asks her, like, are there a lot of other people in the hotel tonight, Widow Wilson? And she's like, nope, just you. So, like, she could have put him in any room and she still puts him in room 13. And
It's her
also,
best.
it's her best, which is hilarious because when we see the room, like there are massive holes in the paint and in the wallpaper and like exposed brick and everything, but not in the like cute city chic way. Like just in the, oh my God, this this
She
wall
wants
might
to
fall down.
see if this future husband and then dead husband is handy. Could he fix it up? All of the other rooms are really adorable. They have like
This is the
fine,
last
like
one.
cute china and paintings in them. She's like, can he
Yeah.
fix it? Is he
Can
handy?
he
Let's
fix
test
it?
him. This is the first test.
This is her whole shtick. Yeah. And she's on the 13th man right now.
Exactly.
Started with room one, killed that
Yeah.
guy when that room was good. She
Yeah,
actually
married
just
him,
bought
killed
this. She
him.
bought
Yeah.
she bought this Tudor mansion for like super cheap and is just honestly rehabbing the thing.
Exactly.
This is her renovation plot.
Smart.
So yes, in his room, he's getting all, tucked in and everything and settled in. And Widow Wilson and Hugo, because they're up there with him, as they leave, they wish him pleasant dreams in a which like sounds nice on paper, but they do it in a very creepy, like stalkery kind of way. And
Yeah.
Hugo's like kind of chuckling as he says it.
Uh-oh.
But just after the man, he like starts to take off his hat and his coat, he's alone in his room now. Immediately strange things start to happen. The blinds on the window shoot open and a
Uh-oh.
bat
Not
a
great because you just
bat
said a stalkery way.
yeah. It's going downhill quickly. A bat flies into the room through the fireplace. And most concerningly, a massive ghost appears in the room, also in front of the fireplace.
Oh,
And this
it's her
ghost
dead
is like,
husband. One of them.
we're adding that. We're adding that to the wild speculation for this. Oh my
Okay,
God.
good.
That's so, yes. This ghost, by the way, though, it's like the classic, I guess, white sheet with holes cut into it. So
Vibe, yeah.
not super scary. And it's just kind of, I mean, I guess it would be scary if it
Yeah,
were a
if you were
real
him.
ghost, but sure. If you were in his shoes, sure. But me watching this cartoon on TV, I was like, yawn.
Be more creative.
Yeah,
No wonder she killed your husband number 11.
exactly. Yeah, he wanted to redo room 13. So
He's
this
back for
is this
more.
is him haunting that. He's back. Yeah, he's haunting that room. And so this mystery man who's in the room, he yells at the ghost, asking it to go away, which is very polite of him.
Yep.
And then he gives up eventually, though, when the ghost just like keeps hovering closer and closer to him.
Oh, the ghost isn't saying anything. It's just
It is.
just
It's like
vibing.
howling. It's just woo. No. It's
Okay,
like
let's do it.
howling.
It's spooky
It's howling
howl.
and like
Okay.
screaming at him. And it does say, as the man tries to run away, the ghost grabs his jacket and screams at him like, "No, you go away. This is my room," which is very
Jealous.
confusing. He's just jealous. But it's very confusing because the man's literally trying to run away and escape, but the ghost
Pulls him
grabs him
back.
and says, "No, you leave." So, like, which one is it, Mr. Ghost? What do
Yeah.
you want? Again, like you said,
Mixed
I think he's just
signals.
jealous. Yeah,
Yeah. That's why she
he's just
killed
jealous.
you, husband 11. You were saying too many mixed
You're,
signals
you're
for
too
Widow
clingy.
Wilson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And also, Mr. Ghost, sir, though, I would like to say there are a lot of other available rooms in this inn right now, as we have learned. So
Yes.
I'm sure that Widow Wilson would have given you another one if you must stay here tonight.
Yes.
But eventually, this ghost, he does let go of the man, and the man is able to run to the door. But somehow the door is locked from the outside. So the man is
Oh
now
no.
locked in his room with this
Nope.
terrifying ghost who
Nope.
is sending a lot of mixed signals. He can't read the room yet. And so we then learn that the ghost may actually have nefarious plans and goals when he tells the
Okay.
man not to go, and then says, "We have plans for you," which
All
again,
right, you just
pretty vague
backtracked.
and confusing,
Yeah. You
but
told
like
me to
slightly
go.
more threatening than earlier perceived, I would argue. So,
Yes.
in
Yes,
a
that is
way.
true. This is going
So
poorly.
it is. Yeah, this poor guy.
Mhm.
So, not wanting to know what exactly those plans are or whatever this ghost has in store for him, the man decides that his only way to safety is out the bedroom window.
You know what?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, good for him. He literally jumps clean out the window and makes a fast break. Like he just
He gets
runs,
away.
like he gets away. He does get away. Yep.
Thank
So
God.
he's not dead. He's not a victim to Widow Wilson and her apparently haunted inn.
Okay.
And he does unfortunately literally leave all of his shit behind, including his car. And he
You know
just
what?
takes off on foot through the woods in the middle of the night in the rain during this storm. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Natural causes will take him then. But you know what? Like your life is worth more than like your suitcase and stuff. So, all right, I'm
Yeah.
glad he got away.
Yeah, same. Me too. I didn't want to see this poor man leave us in the beginning of this episode. I was like, where is the show about to go? And I will say, when he jumped out of the window at first, my jaw was dropped. Like I was aghast, Grace. Like, did they just show this man off himself?
Like that's like, isn't there like horror movies where yeah, like the ghost or like the demon convinces the people to
To
yeah,
like
basically kill
unalive
themselves.
themselves.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh. Uh,
uh-oh. Yikes. Okay, but
and
great. He
and I
got away.
will
He hoofed it.
say when you watch the episode, you don't actually know that he runs off immediately after he jumps out of the window either. Like we
Okay.
don't see this guy again for a few minutes
Okay, all
as
right.
like the episode goes.
Scary.
So there are a few minutes where I was watching it like I think that guy is dead.
We're not going
Like
to talk
there are
about it
like three
again.
minutes of this episode. Yeah, I was like, are they just gonna like brush over
Just
that
leave
in this
it.
children's show? Yeah. But anyway, eventually this guy he runs out and he runs and he runs and he runs until he reaches the next nearest hotel, which is called the Sand and Surf Motel. And this is conveniently
That's way more
located.
fun.
It does. It's conveniently located on the beach, just outside of this creepy forest that
If he had driven
Widow
10 more
Wilson's
minutes originally.
life would have been a whole lot different. It's like the butterfly effect.
Exactly.
It's like the only reason he stopped there was because he like really had to use the bathroom or something. And it's,
Exactly.
you know, it's just how far back down the line do we want to go to him
Yep.
getting to where he is now.
Yeah.
And so this guy, he gets to this much nicer, much more fun hotel on the beach that is still somehow like 10 minutes outside of
Haunted
the deep
forest.
dark forest.
Uh-huh.
And he runs directly up to the concierge, pushing past literally everyone else in line, and manages to book the last room available
Oh,
in the motel. And this is obviously much to his luck because he's clearly traumatized. Like he's shaking as he's
well,
like
yeah.
talking to the concierge and like, you know, pushing past people in line and everything. And he's obviously very traumatized right now, the poor guy.
Yeah.
And so this is very much to his luck, but it is to the detriment of the other folks in line,
Oh.
including our good old pal Augie.
Oh, yep.
And you see the kids and, you know, Elmo, Mudsy, and Boo, they are out enjoying a little weekend getaway for some sun, some sand, and some surfing on the beach.
Nice.
And they originally planned on staying at the Sand and Surf Motel because it's right on the beach. But they're upset to learn that there are no more rooms available now, even though Augie was the next person in line after this guy
that
bumped him out of the
concierge should
way.
have
He should have
taken
stopped
hold
him.
of the customers here.
But this dude was traumatized again. He would have absolutely made a scene if he couldn't get a room. So
yeah, good point. They were like, let's get rid of him. Put him in a room.
Yeah, just put him in a room. Get him out of the public and don't let others see him. So they're upset that they now have to instead stay at the old creepy inn that they remember driving by on their way into town or into the Sand and Surf Motel. And the hotel concierge, who, by the way, is also the motel's owner, and his name is Bill Sands. So
incredible.
We'll just leave it at that. He warns them that although the inn has vacancy, the Widow Wilson's inn probably has vacancy. It's pretty spooky, and he's heard of a lot of weird stuff happening over that way lately. So he's like, you could go there, but I wouldn't advise it. And instead, you should probably just go back into the city and come back another time to surf and everything.
Yeah.
And so...
Correct. Also, is Bill Sands an ex of Widow Wilson?
Well, maybe, but let me describe him. I'm glad you asked.
Her divorce, instead of becoming a widow, he got out of there. So he's like, maybe don't go there.
He's like, there's something weird happening around here. I feel like I'm next for some reason.
He got out of there.
I'm glad you asked that because I was going to describe him and the way he looks. And, maybe he was an ex of Widow Wilson's. Like, good for her, if so, because he's like a very middle-aged guy. I mean, he's maybe like 40.
Cougar.
Yeah.
Cougar.
And he's got like very thick, well-combed black hair. So like, yeah, she misses guys with hair and like sideburns. But yeah, he's got on like a nice like blue casual suit with a gray turtleneck underneath. So like he definitely looks like he's suave, kind of smooth talker. So yeah, maybe he's Widow Wilson's ex.
But he got out of there. Yeah, he started getting bad vibes.
Yeah. He realized that she wasn't going to die anytime soon and there was no inheritance to collect on his part. So he's like, wait, why am I doing this again?
And once she asked him, does he have any life insurance out on him? And he said no, that she was like, all right, well, we're over.
Yeah. You might want to get going
other silly motel.
Yeah. So anyways, Sands, like I said, he tells them they might as well just go back into town and forget about their whole weekend, their getaway. But the gang, they're not happy about this. They're like, no, we did not drive all this way like to not go surfing. If we're here, we're going surfing. So we're just going to go ahead. We'll stay at Widow Wilson's Inn anyway, rather than packing everything up and heading all the way back home. And so as they drive down the hill back into the woods, and towards this creepy old inn, we see very concerningly again Bill Sands watching the kids through binoculars from some old brick watchtower that I guess is like adjacent to his hotel. Surprised that the kids have decided to stay at the old inn. He's like, wow, they really did it, huh? Those kids are going to that inn. I can't believe it.
Those kids about to die.
He does kind of say, he's like, well, they won't make it there through the night. Nobody does.
Oh my God.
Whether he's implying they're going to flee in the middle of the night or they're going to die in the middle of the night, who knows? But Bill Sands, he is stalking them at this point. So
Bill Sands, call an authority. You are not the authority here.
But also, it just shows, I guess, how close these two places are. Like how close this
you can see
scary cottage or inn in the woods is to this nice hotel resort on the beach. If he's like looking through freaking binoculars, I don't know. Anyways,
you know what? Widow Wilson did break up with him when she found out no life insurance. He didn't break up with her, and he misses her. He built that watchtower to keep an eye on her.
He's jealous.
Just being like
I'm just checking. It's for her safety. I just need to make sure that she's safe. Who will protect her if I'm not there?
Yeah, come on. She asked me to do this. Sir, she has a restraining order on you. She
Yeah,
said,
and I'm
until you.
outside of it. I'm more than 500 feet
That's
away
why I built my hotel on top of the hill.
with this massive watchtower so I could see through the trees.
I just love her so much. She said, until I get life insurance, don't come back.
Yeah.
But that's expensive.
I'm working on it. Okay.
I
This hotel is about to turn a profit. I promise I'll have it soon.
don't know why she keeps asking me to do that, though. It's so weird.
It is weird. I
She's
just want to
obsessed
love
with
her.
it.
Just let me love her.
We love you.
So, so the gang, they get checked into the inn. And when they walk in there, or I actually, so before they get checked in, they walk in with all their luggage and everything. And they find Widow Wilson just sitting at her piano, I guess in like the den or something in this inn, literally making a for sale sign. She's just like in big, bold red letters painting for sale on this
Okay.
white, poster or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And I guess not reading the room or having any sort of empathy or
Oh
emotional
no.
intelligence whatsoever. April is immediately like, hey, can we stay here for the night? Which I guess on one hand is nice because she's like, oh, she
Yeah.
must need business. But like, if I
Yeah.
saw someone sadly painting a for sale sign in what is clearly like a small
Dilapidated.
business,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, is everything okay? Are you all
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
are
Like,
you open?
hi, excuse me.
Yeah, not just like they don't say
Give
hello.
me
They
a
don't,
room.
yeah, like, hey, we need to stay here tonight. We need to surf tomorrow. You're the closest hotel to the beach. Are you open?
Hey, we didn't want to be here. Give us a room.
You were her second option.
No wonder this place is for sale, but let
Yeah.
us stay the night.
And so Widow Wilson, she's like, well, unfortunately, I'm closed for good due to,
Oh.
all of these unusual hauntings and ghost sightings that have been happening around here. And she then tells them that they can go up the hill to the Sand and Surf Hotel and check in there instead. And the gang's like, we already tried that. They're booked.
Just give us a
Trust us,
room.
lady. Trust us, lady. If we could have stayed there,
We
we would
know.
have. You're like looking around.
Oh, we tried.
Yeah.
We begged.
So, and on top of that, April, we begged literally, like literally. So on top of that, though, April's like, yeah, and like we have no problem with ghosts. Like we're kind of experts. It's like you'd be surprised at how much we're okay with
We're fine
ghosts
with
being
ghosts.
here. Yeah. And Widow Wilson's like, nah, this is different, guys. This is different. The only literal guests that I've had in my inn over the past several months have been ghosts. Other than that, it's just been me and my caretaker, Hugo, kind of just hanging out here.
Uh-huh.
And so at that exact moment, Hugo walks into the room and he's got like his briefcase in hand and like his coat draped over his arm and
Oh,
his hat
yeah.
on, like clearly getting ready to leave and go home because unfortunately he has just been fired because Widow
Yes.
Wilson, who like she low key apologizes when he walks in, like, I'm so sorry. Like I had to lay Hugo off. I can't even pay him a little bit to like for like today's shift or
Yeah, he's
like his
out.
last paycheck was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's
Like
worked for
he will
free.
not, like he's done. That's it. And at this point, Skip's like, well, that sucks. Like, if you let us stay here for the night, you could like give him something. You could like pay him something.
Right, like we're gonna pay you.
Yeah, like duh. And this poor woman, Widow Wilson's like, wow, that's a good idea. Actually, you're right. Let me get you some rooms ready. Thank you for the sound business advice, kids who just rolled in here.
Rolled in being like, we have money.
Yeah.
Do you want it?
Skip said, I have money. And she was like, oh, do you?
And how
Are you
much
sing? Are you?
perhaps is your estate?
She just assumes that Augie and April are together. So when Skip chimes in, she's like, oh, you have money?
Money.
Single,
And
single young
Augie's
man.
like, he sure does. Yes.
As he
Like
like
starts
puts his
answering
arm
the
around
question.
April. Yeah. Pulls April closer. That's right. Skip sure has a lot of money,
Has
old
money,
lady.
yes, indeed.
So at this point, she's like, all right, well, let me go get your rooms ready and let's get you all checked in.
Hmm.
And Hugo then gives the camera a nice big creepy grin at this point,
Oh,
seeing that there are more guests staying in the hotel.
okay.
And we don't know if he's grinning because he's excited to get a little bit more cash or
Any
because he's
cash.
excited to throw a white sheet on over him and scare the hell out of these kids. We just can't tell yet.
Yeah,
But
okay.
again, he's giving off very creepy and strange person vibes.
Yeah, yeah.
So April, we see her first get settled into her room, and then separately, Augie, Skip, and Mudsie get settled into their room. And meanwhile, while the kids are like moving through this inn and getting settled in, we often see like the classic Hanna-Barbera shifty eyes like moving behind portraits on the
Oh,
wall and
okay.
everything. So we know that someone is definitely watching them from behind these walls
Okay,
very
great.
creepily. And I would also like to acknowledge that when Skip goes into their room, he's like, wow, there are only two beds? What? Where is Mudsie gonna sleep? Like, you booked the room. Did you ask when you booked it? Shouldn't you know? Like, yes, there are only two beds like in this
Yeah,
room. And I don't assume that you would have told Widow Wilson that you needed a third bed for your
for
ghost
a
friend.
ghost.
So I
Also,
don't,
for a ghost, he
a ghost.
doesn't need
Why
a
does a
bed.
ghost need a bed?
Yeah.
Exactly, is the third point. And then the last point, two beds is a totally normal number of beds for a hotel room. Like,
It's
Skip, I don't know what hotels you're going to,
exactly
but
what
sorry.
hotel suites you're staying in.
Yeah, right. Sorry, it's not the penthouse.
The
Okay.
presidential suite at the Hilton,
Yeah,
huh? Is that what you're looking
exactly.
for?
Sorry, it's not a corner suite with a view of the beach. Okay.
Of the surf so
Sorry.
you can watch it.
Goodness, sand and surf,
Sorry.
exactly. So yeah, sorry. But when I was watching this comment just like sent me, so I
Yeah.
just had to
I'm like,
vent. There was
I've
like a whole paragraph.
never been in a hotel room with more than two beds.
No, I mean, I guess if there's also like the pull out bed, maybe like
Yeah,
but again, just skip
come on,
entitlement much.
a
Calm
diva.
down. This Widow Wilson does not find this attractive.
No, Widow
Okay.
Wilson hears this and is like on like listening to the door. She's like, he's used to the presidential suite. He definitely has money.
You're right. That's
That's
accurate.
another one of her tests.
That is why Hugo was out there grinning because he was like, "Oh, Widow Wilson finally found a new one."
He has
Yeah.
money this time. He's the perfect hit. I mean,
Hugo's
partner. I
like, "We're
mean,
gonna be rich." Hugo's like, "I'm gonna have a new
we
dad."
already blew
Essentially,
through that last life insurance policy.
yeah.
Come on, we're going for the baker's dozen of husbands here. Number 13.
Number 13. We lost the other one. This is a perfect replacement.
Yep.
So, anyways, yes, Mudsie, he like gets out of the suitcase and he's like, "Oh, I don't need a bed. Just watch. I can get comfortable anywhere." And he immediately just like gets in a drawer. Exactly. So, just
Yeah.
as you said, like him and Boo, totally fine sleeping in the drawer. And the rest of the gang goes to bed. And perhaps, and it's so funny that you just said something that you just said,
Oh
because
no.
most concerningly of all thus far in the episode, outside of the room, we see Hugo with his ear up to the door,
Yep. 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 This is
listening
no
to
longer
the
wild
boys.
speculation.
Yeah. This is just so funny because it has totally changed the entire like my whole perception on this episode. Just, none of this was going through my mind when I was writing this, but it's so perfect how every single thing is lining up because you said one thing at the beginning.
It only makes sense.
So, yes, Hugo, he's got his ear up to the door, listening to the boys both as they fall asleep and like beforehand as they were talking amongst themselves. So, yep, he's doing
Clocks
some
that
intel
money.
for Widow Wilson. Yep.
Yep.
Ooh, presidential suite. Nice. Yes, we're gonna have a
Circles,
great
underlines.
vacation. Yeah. And then Hugo breaks the fourth wall for us,
Oh.
saying, I wonder if they'll last the night. If
Oh.
they do, they'll be the first. And the fun usually starts at midnight.
Oh.
Which, excuse me, sir. Widow Wilson, come get this man. The fuck? Like, what are you saying
I'm
outside of this room?
concerned.
This
How did
is
you
so
find this
creepy.
man?
Yeah. Um, And then now putting it like into the perspective of this is awesome, massive plot by Widow Wilson. It's like the fun usually starts at midnight.
That's when her hair comes out.
Like all the lights in the inn turn like a reddish, like rose color. And you're just like slow house music start bumping throughout the house.
You see her taking out the pins one by one of her hair.
Tossing off her apron.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all making way too much sense.
It's a house of fun. Yeah.
But alas, as all of the teens and Mudsie and Elmo and Boo fall asleep, and just past the crack of midnight, everyone is awakened by April screaming from her suite, her room, whatever, across the hall. And so the boys all like shoot up out of bed and run out and go help her or go see what's wrong. And they open the door and see her just kind of like cowering in her bed and telling them that a bat flew into her room from the window. And Augie, he laughs at her and just is like, we'll close the window. It's just a bat. Skip, meanwhile, he consoles her and he tells Elmo, like, Elmo, you stay here and protect April. April, try to calm down and let's get some rest, okay? You'll be okay. Ladies, we have a clear point for Skip in the race for April's heart right here.
Widow Wilson overhears this and now is glaring at April for taking her man.
Hugo is also staring like, don't worry, Widow Wilson, I'll take care of her. Yeah, on the one hand, Widow Wilson is thrilled that Skip is like a very kind and nice soul. And on the other hand, she's like, oh, I thought her and Augie were together. Yeah, and in fact, when the kids booked 2 rooms, she was certain that Augie and April were going to share one room, and that's why she has Hugo like outside of the room, like, I need you listening in.
Why are they sharing that room?
So, yes, they console her. Elmo stays behind to protect her, or at least, give her some peace of mind so she can get back to sleep. And then everyone else goes back to bed. But they are again soon woken back up after they hear April screaming again from across the hallway. And the boys, they try to run out and help her, but this time they find that they're locked in their room from the outside.
Again, nope. So scary.
Big nope. Yep. That window's looking pretty nice right now.
It's not looking like too high of a jump.
No, like measuring it out. 20 feet, we can probably do it. Tuck and roll, boys. Tuck and roll. So eventually, though, they are able to like bust open the door. But by the time that they do, April has already gotten out of her room and she's like right there in the hallway in front of the boys' door. And so she's saying, like, what happened? Like, why were you guys locked in? And they're telling her, like, we don't know. What happened to you? Why were you screaming? And April says, well, a hand came out of a hole in the wall of my room above my bed and tried to grab my head, which like terrifying as fuck would be like, no lie. I would be out of there at that point. I'd be like, Widow Wilson, I don't know what the hell is going on in this place.
Also, this is suddenly giving like Maxine vibes, or what were those Ty West films?
Pearl and
yes,
X.
Pearl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, like, what are you doing in my house? Or I guess, we're in your house. Especially, I mean, it mostly gives Pearl vibes in the way that we've rewritten this episode. Yeah,
like she's jealous of the young blonde hot girl,
and she wants the guy who's crushing on her. Yeah, this is all. Hey, put a pin in that. Actually, maybe don't. I don't know. That might be the extent of it.
Who knows?
Yeah. And so, yes, they tell her, or she tells them, that this hand was trying to grab her head from the wall. And at this point, the gang's like, okay, shit's actually fucked up here. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. We need to wake up Mudsie for some help because there's clearly a ghost here and we need a ghost consultant to tell us what to do. And so they get into the bedroom and like open the drawer to wake him up. And he's like, I can't get any beauty sleep around here.
Also, he slept through all of this. We
He
love that
did.
for
He really did. He's like, "What's all? You guys are waking me up. I need some beauty sleep."
him.
And Skip's like, "Mudsie, no, this is serious. This place is actually haunted." And Mudgie's like, "Oh, don't say that." And then he just like gets back in the dresser drawer and closes at night.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going back to sleep. I don't want to deal with a ghost. So, since Mudsie seems to be not at all interested in helping to find and take down the ghost,
Yep.
Augie sends Elmo to sniff out some clues, and of course, Boo joins in on the hunt.
Yep.
And as per usual, while the two animals are like sniffing around, Boo is antagonizing Elmo, and they're pretty much playing more than they're actually hunting for anything.
Yeah.
And while they're playing, Boo accidentally spills a bunch of red paint all over the place in the
Oh
end.
no.
And it's like the paint, I think that like Widow Wilson was using to paint her sign or something.
Oh
So I was like,
yeah.
why is there red paint there? And then, yeah,
That
it
makes
dawned on me,
sense.
but whatever. So fortunately, just after the mess is made, though, we see the creepy ghost pop out of a secret passageway behind the fireplace. And it
Oh.
starts walking through this red paint
Oh
and
no.
begins like haunting up the entire inn. But it leaves behind a trail of fresh red footprints for the entire gang to then follow.
Oh,
And
okay.
also, thus proving it's probably not a ghost.
Yep.
Because Skip, he then like goes up to Mudsie after they see these footprints. And he's like, "Mudsie, do ghosts usually leave footprints?" And Mudsie's like, "No, they leave ghost prints, but you can never see them. Not never almost."
Not never almost. So which
Not
is it,
never,
Buzzy?
almost. Yeah, literally. Like we said before, he's almost always wrong. So it's probably best that he keeps it vague.
Yeah. He's
This is the most
learned.
correct he's been by
Non-committal.
saying not, never, almost. I'm like, that's good. So it means that like maybe it happens, but maybe not. That's a factual Mudsy
Yeah.
statement.
For once. The
Yeah,
first one.
the first one. There's always got to be the first time. So the gang, they follow the footprints as they dead end into a wall. And Skip, he looks down and sees that a bunch of bits of seaweed are stuck in the footprint paint that's been left behind. And he realizes that this is a big clue. And so he tells the gang that they need to get to the beach ASAP, which pleases April, who's like, "Oh my God, finally, I'm so ready to go surfing.
Get out of here."
Like, please. But then Skip's like, "No, no, no, we need to go like find clues. We're not going to surf like yet." So the next morning, they get to the beach. And before we even talk about what they do at the beach, I have to explain what Mudsie is wearing. And I should have looked up the official name of it, but you know, like it's on, think of like the classic like French full body swimsuit that's like long
Like the
sleeves
old
and
school,
pants.
like striped.
Yeah. Stripes, exactly. He's got that on, and it's like purple and green stripes. And then a very, very bright orange life vest. So it's the loudest outfit I have seen in this cartoon, like hands down.
And he would be the one wearing it.
And he's the one wearing it. So yeah, a fashion icon in his own right. Yes.
We knew he would be.
Yeah. So anyways, I was like, I have to tell Grace what exactly. I have to tell all of you, everyone listening, you need to understand what this ghost is wearing, because also he's a ghost. He's supposed to like this is a very bright outfit. Everyone is going to see you, sir.
Yeah, sir. He's tired of being invisible.
Because like he's still white underneath and like has his hat on that's white and everything. So yeah. So like in my mind, it feels like he just put the suit on over his like Revolutionary War outfit.
All still underneath.
Yeah. So anyways, once they get to the beach, the group splits up. Mudsie and Skip, they go together in one direction, and April and Augie go in the other direction.
Yeah,
and they're all surfing still. So Mudsie and Skip are surfing in one way, April, Augie surfing the other. But before they get far, a very grouchy and gruff sounding lifeguard tells them not to go past the restricted area, which fair. That's a lifeguard's job. But
yeah, I'll say he's doing his job.
He is doing his job, but also he's like don't go that far out, kids. Like he sounds like an old, like angry Jersey man or something. I don't know. It's like very off-putting. I don't know. Maybe he's just having a bad day, but it's this guy doesn't
Yeah, you're
have
like,
a
okay.
lifeguard vibe. You know, like
Yeah.
fine, geez, don't ship me. So hilariously though, while they're all out surfing, April is like riding on Augie's shoulders as he
Oh,
surfs. And also, I mean, we know this already because he's just so big, especially compared to
yeah.
like April and Skip. But like we see, because he's just in like swim trunks now, dude,
Yeah.
he's like jacked. They made this guy so big. Like he has like massive calf muscles and like he's just like so big for like I guess like a 17-year-old or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like we
But
gotta add this
also
detail in.
they do. But like also, okay, fine. This is probably his point in the episode in the race for April's heart. Because like I
Yeah,
said,
he was
again,
like, I
she's
gotta
like
make up
on
for the
his
fat thing last
shoulders.
night. I know I fucked
Exactly.
up last night.
Yeah,
Also,
I was pretty mean. Yeah.
yeah. Also, how is this looking for clues? What are they doing
Just
exactly
you
about
wait.
clues right now?
They're surfing great. April said, finally we get to surf. And Skip was like, no, we have to look for clues. And April said, I'm not fucking looking for a goddamn
And
clue
Augie
until I
said,
surf.
no, we're surfing. Shirt off,
And then the
Baywatch
majority,
style, run towards April.
they're like in Widow Wilson's end still as they're having this debate. Augie just takes his shirt off in the end, like, no, we're going surfing.
We're surfing. And April was like,
My
yes.
only win. So, but just you wait. It is kind of looking for clues. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, April, as she's on Augie's shoulders, she's also unfortunately kind of like covering his eyes and his face.
Oh
So he
God.
cannot at all see where he's going and
Uh-huh.
accidentally steers or like surfs them directly into the restricted area of the beach slash water,
Uh-huh.
which apparently, once you get past it, it just leads to a cliff that so it like looks like you're just going to run into a cliff.
Oh,
But
okay.
at a certain point, when they get close enough, an entire secret passageway opens up and leads to a cave that is inside of this
Oh.
cliff. And so the lifeguard sees this, and instead of blowing a whistle or hopping on a jet ski to go get them, he calls his boss, like he pulls a phone out from the lifeguard booth or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, those kids are heading over to the restricted area. And
Okay.
then, fuck it, I'm just going to say it. I was like, should I say
Oh
this now or not?
no.
I'm just going to say it because this is how I wrote it.
Uh-huh.
And we see who his boss is on the other line, Grace. It's the ghost who is he's in the cave on a telephone in front of like this big control desk.
What? This
And
has taken
he's
an
like,
unexpected turn.
that's why I was like, should I do this? Should I say this now? Because this is going to change the whole trajectory of
I thought you were going to
every
name a character we have seen thus far or someone.
like a hotel magnate. Do you know who his boss is? It's the Hiltons, whatever. It's J.W. Marriott, like on the other line. No, it's the ghost.
It's simply the ghost. Okay. That gave
Yeah.
away nothing, I would
No.
say.
No, yeah.
Okay.
So it's the ghost, and he is back in this cave, like, don't worry, I'll take care of them. They'll regret they ever came here. And the lifeguard's like, good, boss, that's the way.
Okay. I'm
And
so perplexed.
so the ghost hires lifeguards.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or like he's like infiltrated this hotel because I guess my assumption is the lifeguards work for the resort because it's like are the beaches on the resort? I don't know.
Uh-huh. Something.
Anyways, so April and Augie, they're in this cave now and they're like, wow, what the fuck? Like this is insane. How did we get here? Why is this here?
Yes.
And they're, venturing through it, trying to find a way out. and also like looking for more clues, as if this cave is not a massive clue in and of itself. And disturbingly, once they reach the end of this tunnel, they come across little peepholes in the wall. And when April looks through them, she sees that they look directly into Widow Wilson's inn.
What?
And next to the peepholes is a little lever on the wall that opens the wall behind the fireplace and is thus the secret passageway that the ghost was using to get into this hotel.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so
this is so elaborate.
At this point, it is. It's elaborate, and it's more concerning than it is elaborate, but you gotta give it to whoever built that. Like it shows dedication.
Dedication.
So
wow.
Criminally dedicated, if you will say, to the
one
cause.
One might say. So dedicated that it's criminal.
A crime.
Yeah.
So April at this point is like, okay, I've seen enough. We need to get the fuck out of here. This is creepy as hell. And obviously it's a big clue that, the ghost is probably going to be back here. So if we want to catch him, this is where we need to be.
Yeah.
But as they turn around to leave, they are face to face with this spooky ghost, who then drops like a weighted tarp over them, trapping them in this cave. So, the tarps that have like little balls or whatever. It's like very cartoonish. I guess, I imagine they use them in like Nam or something like that, like dropping
God.
the tree. But I mean, hey, this is violent. Okay, this show is very violent.
It's not going great.
It's not going great.
For anyone, I would say.
No. So meanwhile, Mudsie and Skip are still out surfing. They're just like, seems like April and Augie are missing, but like we're having fun.
Whatever.
And then they see Elmo on shore barking and pointing at them. And they're like, Elmo must be trying to tell us something. And so they get a little closer and they see that Elmo is trying to direct them towards where he last saw April and Augie. So eventually Skip and Mudsie, they surf their way into this cave and they find Augie and April, who have now been. No, I was going to say, so the ghost has moved them from under a tarp to tying them to these poles that have them like waist deep in water. So water is rising. Exactly. And the ghost is like, and the tide's coming in. So we'll see how long you last here or whatever in his creepy ghost voice. And so Skip and Mudsie get in just in time for like, I think the water's maybe like at their shoulders at this point.
Oh, okay.
And so again, imminent death, not looking too good. Nope. And they free them from this horrible torture just in time. They catch up on the clues that they've all found together, aka that April and Augie have found, because Skip and Mudsie have just been surfing.
Doing nothing.
Not a thing. Nothing helpful, at least. And the gang all concocts a plan to finally catch the ghost. And so they huddle together and then they break up to execute this plan. The humans, they stay hidden in the cave and they say that they're going to wait by the secret entrance at the end of the tunnel leading to the fireplace in the inn. While Mudsie, he's going to go back to the inn and he's going to partake in his true calling as an actor.
Yes.
He gets to play a part. And like you said, Grace, no part is too small. No part is too small.
What is his role?
His role is a single male traveler going to stay a night.
He's going to show up as a ghost?
Kind of. So basically, I mean, he's in costume, but he puts on like a long green trench coat and like like another lime green scarf and giant sunglasses and a hat. So I mean, like he's a ghost, but he's fully covered. So
that's what I was wondering of. Like, she's just gonna see this
he's not gonna
pale entity.
Yeah, no. Just pale like mouth and stuff and nose.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
So she'll probably just think that he's like her age or something like that. When he walks into the hotel or to the inn and walks to the desk to get checked in, Widow Wilson, she sees him and she asks the man's name. And he's like, yes, it's Muddlemore. Muddle, more.
That's his single line, and he knew it.
And he knew it. An icon. This man, give him all the awards. So Widow Wilson is like, all right, well, I hope you have a pleasant stay, young man. Enjoy your night. And Mudsey's like, thank you, young woman.
Oh,
He's laying on the charm. Mudsey
yeah,
was laying on the
okay.
charm. He saw
Like,
how she was looking
try
at
to kill
Skip.
me. See what
Exactly. I
happens.
dare you. I dare you. Besides, Mudsey's more in her age range anyway, so
True.
probably fair. So Hugo, at this point, he's helping Hugo, the caretaker. He's helping Mudsey get all settled into room 13. No surprise.
Oh,
That's where
uh-oh.
Widow Wilson put him.
Okay.
And Mudsey thanks him for his help and his services. And Hugo responds by saying, "You'll change your mind." And then leaves and like slams the door shut.
Okay, sir.
And does not have good social skills. Just saying. Mudsey, meanwhile, practically like pulls out a watch and is like, okay, the scary stuff is going to start happening in 3, 2, 1. And like on the spot,
Midnight,
like clockwork,
baby.
right at midnight. The window blinds, again, they start to open up on their own. Several bats fly through the fireplace. And that damn ghostly ghost starts to scream into the room and eventually appears.
Yep.
And the ghost, look, he tries to scare Mudsey, but Mudsey's like, hold my beer, dude. He throws off his costume, floats right on up to the ghost. Exactly. And scares the shit out of whoever is underneath this cloth.
Hell yeah.
And so once the fake ghost realizes that he is face to face with a real ghost, he's immediately like, "Oh, fuck no, fuck this." Opens up the trap door and tries to run. Exactly, abandoned. You can have Widow Wilson. I don't even want I
don't want her anymore.
Yeah. So this ghost is like running back through the cave tunnel and tries to get away. But Mudsey, being the real ghost, just like walks through the wall and continues chasing the fake ghost through the tunnels. Honestly, doing like some pretty dope ghost shit. Mudsey this is a great scene for Mudsey. He like duplicates himself and surrounds himself like around the fake ghost and is like doing all this crazy psychological torture to him. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. Like, it's pretty cool.
This for Mudsey.
Yes. And so the fake ghost approaches the kids. He's like still running down this hallway or this tunnel. And the kids, they've set up tripwire that the ghost violently trips over. Like, it looks like the dude broke his neck when he trips. It's bad. Like, you hear the like ghost. Thud and like crack too. And I was like, oh God, why did they put that noise in there? Yes, he's about to legitimately be a ghost.
They're creating one live.
Yes. Look, kids, this is how it happened. Mudsey told them exactly how hard they needed to pull that tripwire.
He's like, this is how you break a neck, kids. One snap and you're done.
That's it. That's all it. One snap is all it takes.
He wants to make it a musical number.
So, oh my God, Mudsey loves Dua Lipa. I bet in the modern era, Mudsey loves Dua Lipa and like Lady Gaga. Oh my God,
100%.
Imagine his playlist. So good,
incredible.
So the gang at this point, they're ready to unmask the ghost, who, like, again, low key is probably a dead guy at this point. They're about to be
this crime scene.
They're about to be very, very disturbed with whatever they see underneath. They're like a mangled.
The neck is fully, like, nearly headless Nick.
Yeah.
Moment.
So, Grace, would you like to guess who this nearly headless Nick of a criminal is? I can run back through the our culprits, our suspects.
Yes, please do.
So we have, first of all, Widow Wilson. Okay. Maybe she's bored and ready to retire, or maybe she's trying to create more of a draw for tourists to come into the inn that's haunted. Or maybe she's just really a Black Widow, as we've duly speculated, and whatever. So then we have Hugo, the butler / caretaker, who honestly is just all around creepy and doesn't seem like he likes people at all, and maybe wants the widow's inheritance or just has bad social skills.
Yep.
Then we've got Bill Sands, the owner of the much more successful and desirable motel on the beach.
For many
Then we've
clear
got,
reasons, it's better. Yes.
yes. And then we've got the shady lifeguard who maybe was just having a bad day, but obviously he has something to do with all of this. So
In
he's at least a
cahoots.
co-conspirator.
Yep.
And then we have, an actual ghost, probably of some guy who died in the inn. And like you said,
He's mad
was
about it.
one of her. Yeah, he's mad. He wants Widow Wilson. So yeah, he put a sheet on to haunt people.
Yeah.
So
okay.
who do we think?
So my theory is that I'm going to say who I think it is, and then I will explain as to why.
Okay.
And then I would love to hear the actual answer. So I think that it's Bill Sands. I think Bill Sands was hoping to be, you know what? He's like 60 years younger than her, but he knew who Widow Wilson was by around the age of 20. And you know what? He loves older women.
Yeah.
He continually wanted to be first. He was hoping to be husband number 6. And then it was husband number 7. And then it was husband number 8. He just kept trying, and she just kept saying, "You are not successful enough. You do not have a good life insurance policy. You're also a surf instructor. No one's going to insure that. There are sharks. You'll never get the insurance." And he is just continually trying to win her over. But again and again, she instead kept finding a new husband that came to the hotel. They kept mysteriously disappearing. Bill Sands was fine with it because he thought, I get another shot at love. Next husband's gone. You know who's always there? Bill Sands. Bill Sands is there for the Widow Wilson.
Shoulder to cry on.
A sandy shoulder to cry on.
Sand in your eye?
Which
it's
is
okay.
Horrible. Yeah. That's why she's like, no, Bill. I'm not interested, but he keeps trying. That's why he has the watchtower. So he knows when the next husband drops dead. He knows when to show up with some flowers and some chocolate and some sand. And again, she keeps denying him. And so finally, he said, I will force her to keep running back to me because you know what? This inn is what's causing her to find all these husbands. And if there's no inn, there's no more husbands. Little does he realize that she's killing all the husbands, et cetera, et cetera. He's too blinded by love. Maybe she does actually
he
like
knows.
him.
He knows. And he's like, I can fix her.
Yeah,
she won't
I can
kill
fix
me.
her like all those husbands are fixing those rooms before she kills them.
Yes.
And so this was a long con to get her to shut the inn. So she'd stop drawing in these single men. She'd have to come move into the city near them. They could finally be together. So I think it was Bill Sands. And that is why.
Well, that was amazing. You're 100% correct. Every single thing you just said is right. I'm not even joking. Like, you're right.
Bill Sands?
Yeah, it was Bill Sands, and I agree with your reason for every single thing you said about the reasoning behind it too.
They explain it all in the show.
That's exactly what they say. I mean, no, but in the way that we've rewritten it, it matches perfectly with what the writers said.
Yes.
So yes, it is Bill Sands, the rich motel owner, and his plot, according to the teens, is that he wanted to scare Widow Wilson off of the property so that he could tear it down and build a bigger sand and surf motel. So a lot of things to unpack there and tie into what you just said, which we will do shortly. But to wrap up this episode, back at Widow Wilson's inn, we see businesses booming. And by the way, we never see Bill Sands get arrested. So he actually might be dead. I think they actually did break his neck and killed him. So
they uncover him, but he doesn't say anything to them, and they just put the cover back on. They're like, it's in a cave with a secret entrance.
No one will know. They're like they forget about the lifeguard. They think the lifeguard actually was just being a good lifeguard and telling them not to go into restricted water. So they're like, nobody knows he's here.
Yeah. We're gonna cement up all of those secret passages from the cave to there.
We'll just leave.
Gonna know,
right?
The owner. It'll be a tragic story that the owner of the motel was lost to sea in a surfing accident. It happens.
Do you know how good that'll be for business?
Yeah.
For him?
Yeah, we
Wow.
just all
So let's
slowly back
just
out. The
exactly like
tide will
slowly
wipe away
tiptoe.
any of
Oh,
our
yes. They
fingerprints.
like drag him
Get out of
closer
here.
to the edge, like where the water rolls in, so that the tide does just kind of carry him out.
Exactly. His body one day will just wash to shore and
They
be
make Mudsy and Boo
decomposed.
do it, so there are no
Oh,
fingerprints. Yeah. So
100% yes.
So, anyways, yes. So we don't know. He's gone. We don't see him get arrested. But happily, back at Widow Wilson's inn, we do see that business is booming. She is like making so much money. There's just lines of people trying to get in to book a room there because, as it turns out, lots of folks, in this case, coincidentally, a bunch of old grannies, do indeed like to stay in hotels that are actually haunted and don't just have some weird rich guy dressed up as a ghost, like running through the halls, like screaming at you. It's like,
Oh,
oh, real ghost? Yes.
into it.
Crazy, deranged man in a sheet?
No thanks.
No, thank you. So, also hilarious that it's a bunch of old ladies because methinks Widow Wilson is still keeping like the whole like, are you single and ready to mingle? Like this is essentially turning into like an old person's brothel or something
100%.
in the woods. It's like for when grandparents go on vacations with their whole families and stuff. They're like, oh no, you guys go and hang out at the beach. We're gonna stay up at the old person's hotel up on
Yeah,
the hill. You
it
guys
won't be
have
any fun for you guys.
fun. So we see a bunch of these old ladies, these grandmas checking into rooms. And as they're checking in, they're like double checking and triple checking with Widow Wilson. Like, you promise there is a ghost in this room? Like,
Wow.
I really want to see a ghost. And she's like, don't worry, I promise your room has a very special ghost in it. And so we see one of these grannies go into her room and she's like looking around, like, are you in here? And we see Mudsy just like pop out of the closet, very pleasantly scaring them, like, boo. And like they're just like clapping and laughing, like, yay,
Oh my
this is
God,
so
he
much
found a
fun.
permanent role.
He did literally. Because essentially he has promised Widow Wilson that he'll stop by every weekend to scare some folks around and like keep her in business. One, because we love Mudsy. He's a good dude and he loves to have fun. He loves a good role. And two, because he gives it away as he like catches back up with the gang and they drive off in their dune buggy, that he's like definitely smitten with Widow Wilson because he's like, I wish I were 100 years younger because that Widow Wilson is a cute chick.
He actually says that.
He says that. He says that. And he goes on even more because April's like, oh, Mudsy, you're something else. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a veritable tiger. Which in my head, I was like, did he just say that on this children's show? And yes, Urban Dictionary agrees with me that is definitely Mudsy bragging about his sex life. That's the very last line of this episode, the end.
Oh my God.
Yes, that is how this episode ends.
Had everything I could have ever dreamed of, including the fact that at the end, we've now learned this about Mudsy and his player lifestyle, but also that he's like, and now this hotel is filled with a bunch of old ladies who are about to become ghosts.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a page from Bill Sands because who's about to be there when they become ghosts with a shoulder to cry on?
Me.
Oh my God, Mudsy.
Oh, Mudsy. He's
getting all these old ladies when they die.
He's a spicy one. Oh, Mudsy. Man,
wow,
again.
This was an incredible and perfect episode.
Yes, I was excited watching it. Every now and again when you watch one of these and we're like writing our scripts and like as you watch it, you just get more and more excited. Like, oh my God, we're gonna have so much fun talking about this. It's gonna be ridiculous. That was literally this whole episode.
Yes.
Because
from calling it Widow Wilson's Inn from the jump, like
I mean
it was it prepped us perfectly.
It did. And I mean, I'm really glad that you thought of that with the whole like Black Widow thing because it made everything else make so much more sense, especially with like this whole because this evil plot, this Bill Sands is just this was never going to work, right? Like,
no,
first of all, the ghost was confusing as hell. Like, did he want them to leave? Or did he want them to stay? We don't know. And
Yeah.
like maybe he wanted to expand his business. Like that was my, obviously that's what they said. And when I first saw
Yeah.
this guy, I'm like, he's probably a shisty businessman trying to buy someone's
Yeah.
property. But then at the end of it, I was wondering, I was like, did he ever actually ask Widow Wilson to like buy her property? Or was his
Yeah.
first plan like, let's haunt this place?
Yeah,
So
let's
in
hunt
my
the fuck out
mind,
of
your
this.
theory of Bill Sands being rejected by her in the
Over and
past and
over
being
again.
it makes so much more sense to me. I'm like, this is a
Yep.
lot just to buy
Well,
property or to steal
and
property when you could have just easily probably
asked.
bought it from her. Like, no, he's definitely a stalker who was formerly in love with her and is
Well,
trying to. Now he's like, I need to build a bigger hotel to impress her and show her that I'm successful and powerful. And I'll take this
yeah.
stupid property off of her hands and she can live in the presidential suite of my new resort.
She kept saying I would never make anything of myself,
Yes,
but I'll
look
show
at me
her. I'll have
now.
so much money. I'm a real
Exactly.
estate mogul. My life insurance that she keeps asking about
It's
will
so I
be worth
can't
so
understand.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And crazy that he does not have life insurance when he is able to afford building an entire tunnel system in a cave on the beach that then
Yes.
leads into
Into her
her
place. Yeah.
and
You
which
know
makes
what?
me think that he also had enough money to just buy her out of the property. I mean, again,
Yeah.
like that's a
But he's like,
whole other level of crazy. Imagine
I
the
think it's
engineering needed to build that.
I think it's because he was like a scorned lover and like his ego
Yeah.
was hurt. So that's why it couldn't just be a simple buyout.
Yeah.
Like, that ego can really take you places. And it did for him,
It did,
including to
sadly.
his death,
His death alone in a
which would be
cave.
coming either way around Widow
Yeah.
Wilson, but
Yeah.
in different way this time.
He just brought it on a bit quicker.
Yep,
Hey, I
exactly.
mean, she's still a Black Widow, but for her, he would not be dead. She wasn't the direct cause, but she was a proximate cause.
Exactly.
Sure.
A lot of death happens around her of young men, and no one's quite been
Yeah.
able to put it together.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I actually do think I've put it together though, and this is my very last thing I'll say for
Uh-huh.
the episode. I think a lot of the bodies happening or building up and piling up around this end definitely have something to do with Hugo. This guy, he has bodies in the closet somewhere. I know it wasn't him in the end,
Well,
but he's just way too creepy to be innocent in all of this. Like
well,
I'm convinced that Widow Wilson is
one
covering for him.
one piece of speculation I did have, and then just was like, I'm not going to put that in, was that because I was like, why is he so like part of the plot as to what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
But namely, like so interested in these men being alone. I think he was the muscle for Widow Wilson for all the
Yes.
killings. But then I was
Yeah.
like, but why would he be doing it? And I was like, is he her son from the first marriage?
He witnessed her accidentally kill the first husband
Yes.
or something.
And he was
Or
very young, and she was
oh
like, this is just
no.
how it works, honey. And we don't tell anyone.
Oh my
And so he's
God.
always just helped her then on out.
And now, oh man, that's crazy. That's this is like Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock and the Bates
Yes.
Motel, the show that
Yeah.
came much later but is a prequel to it that was very, very good. And essentially is like, yeah, I'm pretty sure actually it's possible actually that Hugo killed the father when he was young, but the mother had too much
Oh,
attachment issues to Hugo. And was like,
yes.
don't worry, honey, you're
I'll
safe.
cover for you.
We'll
I'll cover
protect
for
you.
you.
The husband was like abusing and beating me anyway. Like you were just protecting
Yeah,
mommy. It's
But
fine.
then they got
No.
that first insurance payout, and suddenly she was
Exactly.
like,
She's like, oh, hey, let's start a hotel somewhere. This old Tudor mansion is for
interesting.
sale, and we can just
Let's buy
literally
it up,
it's
honey.
Psycho.
Yes, exactly. Oh no, these
Man.
accidents keep happening like the first one you caused, honey. We can't
Yeah,
tell anyone about it.
honey.
Remember how mom didn't tell anyone when your accident happened with dad?
Hmm. You won't
Hmm.
you won't tell on mommy, will you? Clean this up for
Oh yeah, this is
mommy.
a fucked up relationship through and through. This is deeply
Honestly,
fucked. Yeah.
damn. And Bill Sands was just trying to like separate her from, he could sense it. He was like, wow, Hugo and Widow Wilson, like,
not good.
This is an unsafe parent-child relationship. Like, he wanted to warm up to Hugo, but Hugo was always staring at him while he was sleeping.
Sharpening knives around him.
Yeah.
But he loved Widow Wilson so much that he was like,
he was trying to help her.
I still want her. Yeah.
Yeah. He's trying to help her. And then Hugo just took it too far one day. So Bill Sands had to put that cloak, those sheets on over and build a whole tunnel network.
Yeah, they had to forcibly rip them apart so he could get his honey back. Wow.
Hate to see
it.
Episode
so
was
fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. In the end. So, hey, I didn't write it.
We just rewrote it.
We did exactly. So yeah,
great
thank
job.
you. But I'm sure that whatever rewrite you have in store for next week will be just as fucked or entertaining as this was.
Always
so
is.
Until then, Grace, who should they tell about this show?
You should tell a widow.
Good, nice.
And if it's a multiple time widow, some questions. See if they know about, common poisons that are undetectable, just like in casual conversation.
Yeah. Just
ask.
Yeah. Or how to like get very, very, very solid stains out of whites and floors and carpets.
Maybe stop talking to them. But you should tell a widow this episode.
Yeah. We also
who else?
A lost demo.
A lost demo. We're appealing to them.
Yeah.
You're still seen and hurt, ladies and gents. Who else?
Then you should tell the firstborn child of a widow. And
check in on that relationship.
See how they're doing with their parents. I guess with their mother who has a deceased spouse. And without bringing up too many traumatic memories, actually ask what do they know about.
So was there an autopsy on your parent who died? Did you ever get to see
what happened?
I'd like to see it. Do you remember? What were you told happened?
Don't mind my interest in this whatsoever. It's normal.
It's casual. Yeah.
Very casual. Yeah.
Incredible.
Great. We'll see you all next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.